What if the numbers you write down today become the turning point of your life tomorrow? Not because of magic, but because of alignment. Right now, millions chase wealth, love, and peace, yet feel like something's always missing. But ancient Buddhist teachings reveal a forgotten truth. Luck is not found, it's created, and numbers are keys. In this video, you'll uncover 6 powerful numbers tied to April 15th, 2025. Numbers chosen not for superstition, but because they carry real energy, real symbolism, and real potential for transformation. These aren't numbers to guess your future. They're tools to help you reshape it. To begin, give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the content designed to unlock wisdom and abundance in your life. And here's a simple but powerful first step. Comment below, "I welcome growth and harmony into my life." By typing that, you're setting a clear intention and opening the door to something greater. Now, let's dive into how these numbers work and how you can use them to align your path with wealth, balance, and inner peace. Part 1. The hidden wisdom of lucky numbers in Buddhism. In Buddhist philosophy, luck isn't a random blessing from the skies. It's the visible outcome of unseen causes. It's not about chance. It's about karma, intention, and alignment. For over 2,500 years, Buddhism has taught that everything arises from causes and conditions. So when someone wins a fortune, heals miraculously, or stumbles into the right opportunity, it isn't just luck. It's often the ripening of good seeds planted long ago, through actions, thoughts, and even energy. Numbers in this tradition are not just mathematical tools. They are vibrational symbols, each carrying a frequency that interacts with our consciousness and the world around us. Some numbers represent spiritual balance, others symbolize transformation, clarity, or abundance. Take the number 8, for example. In Buddhist cultures, it's revered not just because it resembles infinity, but because it aligns with the Noble Eightfold Path, the very foundation of a wise and virtuous life. Or consider 108, the number of beads on a mala, symbolizing the completion of inner cycles and purification. There's even a folk story from northern Thailand. A poor farmer once meditated every morning, reciting the number 5, a number of freedom and movement. One day he was offered a job by a passing merchant, simply because his calm energy stood out. He would later become a landowner, not from luck, but from quiet intention and spiritual alignment. So when we talk about lucky numbers, we're not chasing fantasy. We're tuning ourselves to deeper truths and giving form to our future through mindful intention. Part 2. Number 12. Completion, order, and the power of cycles. In the world of numerology and Buddhist symbolism, the number 12 stands as a powerful symbol of completion and new beginnings. It marks the closing of a chapter with grace and the opening of a new one with clarity. Why 12? It shows up everywhere in both nature and culture. 12 months complete a year. 12 hours divide the day and night. The Buddhist calendar revolves around cycles, and in many traditions, 12 represents the wholeness of a journey. It reminds us that life flows in seasons, and that we are meant to grow, pause, reflect, and restart. April 2025 is one of those moments. Energetically, it's a time when one cycle ends and another begins. It may not be loud or dramatic, but if you're still long enough, you'll feel it. A subtle shift. The universe is inviting you to let go, reorganize your life, and begin again with more wisdom. And that's where number 12 comes in. Not as a superstition, but as a guidepost. In Buddhist teachings, the number 12 can also relate to the 12 links of dependent origination, which explain how suffering arises and how it can be ended through mindful awareness and action. When you meditate on the number 12, you're invited to reflect on the full circle of your choices and how they've led you to this moment. Here's a story that captures this idea beautifully. Mr. Thomas, a retired school teacher, turned 78 last year. After losing his wife, he began a quiet practice of morning meditation. He wrote down 12 spiritual intentions, things he had long neglected: forgiveness, patience, compassion, gratitude, and a promise to visit the temple more often. For 12 months, each month he focused on one of these intentions. Slowly, he began reaching out to old students, patching up family rifts, even helping neighbors anonymously. On the final day of his practice, April 15th, 2025, he didn't feel wealthy in money, but he felt complete. He told a monk at the temple that, for the first time in years, his heart felt light, like spring after a long winter. This is the essence of number 12. It's not just about finishing tasks. It's about consciously closing spiritual loops and preparing the ground for what's next. If there's something in your life that feels unfinished, April is your moment. Let this number remind you. What you complete with mindfulness today becomes the foundation for your peace tomorrow. In practical terms, this might be the perfect time to finish old projects or clear emotional clutter. Organize your goals into 12-week cycles. Meditate 12 minutes a day for insight and renewal. Because when you live in tune with cycles, life flows with you, not against you. Part 3. Number 56. Embracing change without losing your center. In a world that constantly shifts, where uncertainty seems to be the only constant, the number 56 emerges as a quiet guide, reminding us that growth doesn't have to mean chaos, and change can be a conscious, centered choice. Numerologically, 56 combines the vibrational power of 5 and 6. The number 5 is the symbol of freedom, adventure, and the courage to change direction. The number 6 brings in stability, compassion, and the energy of responsibility and care. Together they form a sacred balance, the willingness to move forward while staying rooted in your values. In Buddhist thought, this mirrors the middle way, neither clinging nor avoiding, but walking through change with mindfulness. In April 2025, the energy of 56 is especially present. It's a time that invites you to evolve, not through force, but through awareness. This number encourages transformation that respects your center, where you listen to your heart before you leap. Let me tell you the story of Lan, a woman who truly embodied this energy. For 25 years, Sarah worked in a corporate office in England. She was known for being dependable, professional, but also quietly burned out. Every morning felt heavy. Every evening filled with the question, is this all there is? During a silent retreat she attended at age 51, she came across the number 56 during a guided meditation exercise. The teacher explained it as the number of mindful movement, of reshaping your life not in panic, but in peace. That moment planted a seed. 6 months later, Sarah made a bold choice. She left her job, not in anger or desperation, but in calm readiness. She began learning candle making, something she'd loved in her youth, and paired it with daily mindfulness. Today, she runs a small but flourishing business called 56 Flames, where every product is infused with intention, care, and presence. She tells her customers, "The number 56 changed my life. It gave me permission to change and reminded me to carry peace with me, not just search for it." The message of 56 is not to quit everything. It's to ask, am I living in alignment? Are my changes rooted in reaction or reflection? If you felt the pull for transformation this month, you're not alone. April 2025 is a moment for subtle but lasting shifts. Let number 56 remind you that you can evolve without losing who you are. You can leave behind what drains you and step toward what restores you. Change becomes powerful when it's guided by wisdom, not fear. So when you see or feel the number 56, let it be your signal. It's safe to grow. You don't have to abandon your peace to move forward. You just need to bring it with you. Part 4. Number 8. Wealth, leadership, and karmic responsibility. If there's one number in numerology that's universally associated with wealth, power, and success, it's the number 8. But in the light of Buddhist teachings, 8 means far more than material gain. It carries a heavy weight of responsibility, karma, and ethical leadership. Visually, the number 8 is infinity turned upright, symbolizing limitless potential, endless flow, and a cycle of giving and receiving. In Eastern philosophies, especially Buddhism, it also reflects the noble eightfold path, a moral and spiritual code guiding us toward right view, right intention, right action, and beyond. In short, the number 8 whispers, yes, you can be wealthy, but be wise. It asks not just how much we earn, but how we earn it. Not just what we build, but who we become in the process. Let me share the story of Mr. John, an entrepreneur who built his entire company around the ethics of number 8. In his early 30s, John started a small logistics business. Like many young founders, he was hungry for success. But a turning point came after a meditation retreat, where a monk explained the deeper meaning of number 8, not just as a number of riches, but of karmic accountability. That struck him deeply. He returned home and rewrote his entire business charter. From that day on, all pricing structures had to be fair, not inflated by greed. Staff salaries were tied to well-being, not just performance. A portion of profits was set aside monthly for community charity, no exceptions. He called this the Rule of 8. Earn with dignity, lead with wisdom, and give without attachment. 10 years later, his company, Infinity Forward, became a national success, not just for its profits, but for its culture. Competitors tried to copy his model, but missed the heart of it. Integrity is the real currency. Than would often say, wealth is temporary, but the karma of how you earn it follows you beyond this life. In April 2025, the energy of number 8 is amplified. It's a time to ask yourself, am I creating success that's sustainable, both materially and spiritually? Do my financial goals align with my ethical compass? Can I lead without dominating and give without needing recognition? Number 8 teaches us that prosperity without principle is hollow. But when wealth flows through channels of integrity, it creates a legacy, not just a lifestyle. So if you're seeing 8 everywhere this month, take it as a sign, not just to grow, but to grow right. Leadership is not about being above others. It's about being accountable for the path you carve and the ripple effect it leaves behind. Let your ambition serve something higher. That's when number 8 truly unlocks its power. Part 5. Number 33. Compassion as the key to unexpected prosperity. In numerology, 33 is often referred to as a master number, a symbol of deep compassion, emotional healing, and altruism. But it's more than just a label. In Buddhist and spiritual thought, 33 represents a vibration of service, connection, and soulful fulfillment. While other numbers push you to build, lead, or transform, number 33 gently calls you to soften, to feel, and to serve. It reminds us that true prosperity often arrives not when we grasp for it, but when we give it away without expecting anything in return. The energy of 33 aligns with the Buddhist practice of metta, or loving kindness. It teaches that the way we treat others creates not just outer harmony, but inner richness. When we radiate empathy, we begin to attract people, peace, and opportunities we never imagined. Let me share with you a story from the countryside of southern France. Jacques, an 82-year-old widower, had lived alone in his stone cottage for decades. After his wife passed, his relationship with his children gradually faded, letters unanswered, calls unreturned. He grew silent and resentful. For 33 years, not a single family member came to visit. One winter morning, something shifted. Jacques heard a story on the radio about a local youth shelter struggling with funding. Something in him stirred. That week, he baked a dozen loaves of bread and brought them, quietly, to the shelter's door. No words, just warm bread. The staff were touched, so he returned the next week with soup, then handwritten notes of encouragement for the teenagers. Soon they began calling him Papi Jacques. He became their unofficial grandfather. One of the shelter volunteers later shared photos of Jacques and his efforts on social media, without telling him. That post was seen by his granddaughter in Lyon, who had never met him. 3 weeks later, Jacques opened his door to find his son, his daughter-in-law, and his granddaughter standing on his porch with trembling hands and tearful eyes. They had come home, not because he demanded it, not because he asked, but because he gave. That is the energy of 33. It teaches us that healing starts with the heart, and sometimes the most broken relationships can mend when we offer love with no agenda. Prosperity, in its deepest form, is connection, the sense that we matter, that we're not alone, and that our kindness echoes through time. In April 2025, if number 33 keeps appearing in your life, take it as a call to forgive someone, even silently, to check in on someone lonely, to give without needing recognition. Because when you lead with compassion, the universe responds with miracles. Part 6, number 42, Foundation, Trust, and Emotional Security. In the ever-changing landscape of life, some numbers call us to move, to grow, to leap. But the number 42 whispers something different. It says, pause, breathe, build something that lasts. Numerologically, 4 brings in the energy of stability, order, and discipline. It's the number of the square, 4 walls, 4 corners, 4 seasons. Meanwhile, 2 brings sensitivity, connection, and cooperation. Together as 42, they represent a balance between strong foundations and gentle collaboration. In Buddhist thought, this number mirrors the importance of Sangha, the supportive community that sustains our practice and inner peace. And in daily life, it reminds us that emotional security and spiritual growth flourish when rooted in trust, simplicity, and shared values. Let's travel to the southern coast of England, to a town called Brighton, where this spirit of 42 came to life through 2 unlikely gardeners. George and Alfred, both widowers in their late 70s, had been neighbors for over 2 decades, but barely spoke. After retirement, both found themselves slipping into isolation, their days repetitive and quiet. But one spring morning, Alfred knocked on George's door with a packet of tomato seeds and a simple idea. What if we made the afternoons mean something again? And just like that, the 420 Garden Club was born. Every day at exactly 4:20 p.m., they met in George's backyard. At first, it was just planting seeds, watering soil, sharing old stories. But soon, it became more. They started meditating for 10 minutes before digging, followed by tea and quiet reflection. Neighbors began to notice. Some joined. A local cafe offered to donate compost. A school even brought children on Thursdays to learn gardening. But more than that, a community began to root itself. George once shared, "I didn't realize how much I needed this. Not just the routine, the trust, the laughter, the silence." The number 42 became their emblem, not of time, but of what time can create when we use it wisely. April 2025 carries this exact energy. If you've been longing for a reset, something simple, meaningful, and emotionally nourishing, 42 is your invitation. It's not about rushing towards success. It's about building a life you don't need to escape from. Let 42 remind you that relationships deepen when nurtured slowly. Spiritual growth doesn't require noise. It needs space. A peaceful life isn't passive. It's planted and cultivated. Sometimes all it takes is a cup of tea, a patch of soil, and a trusted friend to feel rich again. So this month, ask yourself, what am I building? And who am I building it with? Because when your foundation is solid and your heart is open, life doesn't have to be perfect to feel complete. Part 7. Number 5. Embracing freedom and the unknown. If the number 4 is structure, the number 5 is movement. It is the wind after stillness, the road after the house, the question after the plan. In both numerology and Buddhist symbolism, number 5 represents freedom, curiosity, change, and the courage to explore life beyond the borders we've built for ourselves. It's a number of transformation, not just physical, but emotional and spiritual. And it often shows up during those moments when life nudges us to step beyond comfort and routine. Number 5 is not reckless, it's brave. In Buddhist terms, the number 5 aligns with the 5 spiritual faculties: faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. All qualities necessary to leap into the unknown with awareness, rather than fear. Let me tell you the story of Evelyn Carter from Oregon, USA. A 75-year-old widow, Evelyn had spent most of her life in service of others, raising 3 children, caring for her husband during his long illness, and later, volunteering at her local church. When her husband passed, Evelyn's life became quiet. Too quiet. The days stretched on, and for the first time, she began to feel invisible. One afternoon, while sorting through old belongings, she found an unopened envelope from a travel agency dated 1991. Her husband had once planned to take her to Sedona, Arizona, but the trip never happened. That night, she dreamed of red rocks and open skies. The next morning, she booked a one-way ticket. For the first time in her life, Evelyn traveled alone. Sedona was just the beginning. In the months that followed, she visited 3 national parks, took a hot air balloon ride, and even joined a weekend silent retreat in Santa Fe. She journaled every step, writing the number 5 on the first page of each entry. To her, 5 symbolized her 5th decade of adult life, and the start of a new chapter she was no longer afraid to write herself. "It's funny," she later told a local newspaper. "I thought I was too old to start over. Turns out I was just too scared. But number 5 reminded me I still had motion in me." April 2025 is a powerful moment for breaking free. Not out of rebellion, but out of self-liberation. If you've been feeling stuck, stagnant, or silently yearning for a change, number 5 is calling. This month, ask yourself, what small adventure have I been putting off? What dream have I shelved, thinking it's too late? And what if freedom isn't in the destination, but in saying yes to the unknown. Let number 5 remind you, you don't need to escape your life. You just need to move with it. Because when you answer the call to explore, life doesn't just expand. You do. Part 8. How to use these numbers mindfully. Meditation, visualization, and intention setting. Knowing your lucky numbers is just the first step. The real magic happens when you engage with them intentionally and mindfully through meditation, visualization, and repeated focus. In Buddhist-inspired practices, numbers aren't just symbols. They are vibrations. And by sitting with them in silence, you begin to tune your energy to theirs, creating alignment between your intentions and the flow of life. Here's how you can get started. Create a quiet space. Light a candle. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Visualize the number. Imagine the number glowing in golden light. See it in your mind's eye, as if it were drawn in the air. Feel its energy. Associate each number with its specific theme, like 12 with completion or 33 with compassion. Let that energy fill your body. Write it down. In a special notebook or sacred journal, write the number down 3 times slowly. Feel each stroke. Repeat and affirm. Silently repeat a simple affirmation such as, I align with the energy of number and welcome its guidance. Suggested 6-day meditation calendar. Day 1, number 12. Visualize cycles closing, new beginnings emerging. Day 2, number 56. Feel adaptable, steady, and open to transformation. Day 3, number 8. Anchor into strength, leadership, and ethical wealth. Day 4, number 33. Embrace compassion and heart-centered service. Day 5, number 42. Ground yourself in trust, security, and support. Day 6, number 5. Open your spirit to freedom and new adventures. Do this consistently, and these numbers become more than digits. They become guides. By now, you've discovered that these 6 numbers, 12, 56, 8, 33, 42, and 5, aren't just lucky combinations. They're spiritual invitations. Each one carries a message. To close old chapters, to step forward with courage, to lead with integrity, to love without condition, to build with patience, and to leap into the unknown with trust. This isn't about superstition. It's about alignment between who you are, what you value, and the energy you choose to walk with each day. So whether you meditate with these numbers, write them in your journal, or simply let them whisper to you in quiet moments, remember this: you're not waiting on luck. You're becoming it. If this video resonated with you, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the bell so you never miss content crafted to bring light, balance, and clarity to your path. And don't forget, comment below. I welcome growth and harmony into my life to set your intention in motion. Because when your actions are mindful and your heart is open, even the smallest number can unlock the most powerful change. Until next time, may your path be guided by clarity, kindness, and quiet strength. Keep walking with intention, and let every step become a blessing.